that's it for the Golden and Silver Age, and I heard the word or the words "Crisis on Infinite Earths" being tossed around. So I wanted to ask Jay, could you describe what Crisis on Infinite Earths was? Just a quick rundown.
Basically, the Anti-Monitor wants to eat the multiverse, and he does. That's about it.
And
They
then
kill
die.
a lot of planets, a lot of characters.
It's a rags to riches story, yeah.
Of course.
And people ask why comics are confusing. I don't get it.
What did it do to the comics line for DC?
Rebooted it, kind of. It was a delayed reboot.
So after Crisis on Infinite Earths, I kind of brought it along to the Bronze Age or the modern age of the 80s.
Bronze Age actually preceded the.
Bronze Age is before.
Yeah, Bronze Age started mid 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a it's kind of an iffy time, but generally it's accepted between Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 85, was it? Or
76.
Sorry, 76, sorry. Anyway, and then the other commonly accepted is Amazing Spider-Man 121, the night that Gwen Stacy died.
Which is, like I said, the quote-unquote modern age of the 80s comics, which brings us to what I think would be one of the most discussed topics here is the Perez run.
If I didn't fall asleep halfway through issue 7. Oh, I see that look. For those of you playing the home game, Primo is looking at me with as much horror as Jay does when I talk shit about Hal Jordan.
I have no... Oh my good gosh.
Okay, so
yeah.
it's pretty simple. The George Perez art is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I really enjoy looking at the art. But I just had this problem where Len Wayne's narration and his dialogue style during the 80s and mid-70s or so kind of just puts me to sleep. That's my big problem, is that I can't get past the mid-80s dialogue.
Here's why the Perez run is so important.
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Wonder Woman, no. The Wonder Woman you know today doesn't exist without the George Perez run of Wonder Woman. Like, that's the run that brought her to the forefront and made her prominent among DC characters and comic book characters. Like, that's the run that you're like, oh man, this right here makes Wonder Woman one of the top female characters in all of comics, Marvel, DC, anything like that. And it laid down the groundwork for every single Wonder Woman story you read past 1987. Like, every Wonder Woman story that ever gets written, if she's wearing the outfit that she's wearing, that, you know, the onesie with Star Spangled Bottoms, whatever it is you want to call it, George Perez, the whole generally accepted rebellion against an overprotective mother to go off man's world and become this champ, all sort of stuff like that. George Perez run. Everything modern Wonder Woman is from this run. That's what I'm getting at. Like, everything modern Wonder Woman. This is like the invention of electricity for the rest of the world. You know.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Wonder Woman run is Gail Simone's, but that's besides the point.
Really?
That may be I'm saying that may be your favorite.
I actually liked Perez more than actually reading Gail Simone's Wonder Woman was one of the first times where I was like, oh, I didn't enjoy this. Like, yeah.
I would put Gail Simone's Wonder Woman, of the four biggest, most talked about Wonder Woman runs of Perez, Rucka, Azrael, and Simone, I'd put hers last.
Yeah, like, I actually was disappointed because I love Gail Simone, and I was just like, I just couldn't get into it.
Look, I like Simone's Wonder Woman, but I find that, like, unlike other writers where I feel like no matter what they're writing, I'm going to at least enjoy it, sort of thing. Like Grant Morrison was on that list until Wonder Woman Earth 1, but I'm sure we'll get to that. I really enjoyed her run.
It was slightly odd, too, in my opinion, like how she wrote Diana, because obviously Gail Simone is so well known for writing really rich female characters, like she did with, in Birds of Prey and with Batgirl as well. But I felt like her rendition of Wonder Woman was really flat and kind of emotionless. Well, maybe not emotionless, that's the wrong word, but kind of removed from her surroundings in a way that wasn't natural. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about that later.
To come back to the Perez thing, I'm sort of halfway through, because I could totally struggle through the heavy dialogue, and this goes for also Teen Titans. I just
like not the new Teen Titans.
No, like Perez Teen Titans.
Yeah, new Teen. Okay.
Sorry. I thought you meant. Yeah, I'm thinking like.
I didn't mean new.
I'm like, yeah, no, I don't like
which doesn't exist. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
I must admit, I just don't have the same love for Perez's writing as most hardcore DC fans have. Like, I'm excited that Rucka's coming back to Wonder Woman. If they announced Perez is coming back for Titans or something like that, I wouldn't care nearly as much. Like,
it would probably be better than it is right now.
I agree. Like, George Perez has some run going on right now. I can't remember can't remember what it is. It was very boring. And obviously, you know, he was on New 52's first Superman run, and it was awful. And I'm not to hate on like George Perez, but like it's one of those deals where back then, awesome. Today, no.
And it was partially the time period too. People like to be really verbose in like both their exposition and their dialogue.
No, it just doesn't carry over.
Yeah, like that's what I mean.
I just harp on the George Perez Wonder Woman run so much because, like I say, it's like it laid the groundwork for everything else. Like, yeah, it's just.
I mean, that's fair.
We don't have Wonder Woman that we have today. She's not part of the Trinity. She's not this world-known female.
You think that Wonder Woman just wouldn't exist as she does? I mean, when you think
Yes,
about
I
it,
do think that.
compared to Batman and Superman, it's still Batman Superman.
Well, that's actually something that we were going to discuss, right? Is she really
Yeah,
an
I
equal
think
part of the
that's-
Trinity?
But I mean, no. Why I give her the Perez one so much credit? Because at the time, like Perez is writing the #1 comic book in comics, the book, New Teen Titan. That was outselling everything in Marvel and DC. That was the book. So DC is like, you know what? We need to do this, and they put the best writer in the business on Wonder Woman. And then everybody's like, I'm gonna read whatever he writes. It's like Scott Snyder right now. Whatever Scott Snyder writes, people are gonna read. Whatever Tom King writes, people are gonna read. So DC was like, you know what, we're gonna do this for Wonder Woman. We need to boost this up, and that's what they did. And now, because of that, then you open up the door because he has now laid a framework that everyone else can base their stories and references off of. Hey, when you want to do a Wonder Woman story, this is the blueprint. These are the core things that you hit. Describe who Diana is, how she feels, and how she treats her friends and enemies. Yada yada yada. This is it. Boom. And then that lets you have the Rucka run. That lets you have the Simone run. That lets you have the Brian Azzarello run. That lets you have everything in between. That lets you even set up for when Hippolyta becomes Wonder Woman, all sort of things like that. Like that's just the setup. I'm not saying that this is like the hands down highest quality Wonder Woman story out there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it is the most important, I think, Wonder Woman story. Because if it wasn't written by George Perez at that right time, then I think the other things would not have came at the same level. Like if they took George Perez out and they're like, you know what, we're gonna put Perez on Green Arrow, then Green Arrow would be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Green Arrow would not be.
I don't know about that. I mean, up till I was
I
with
just
you
picked
up
the
till
character.
that.
I just picked the
Yeah.
character.
Okay.
Batman is only that way because of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Mass popularity for Batman did not start until the Joker, till Heath Ledger died. I will come out and say it.
What the fuck
mean,
are you even talking about?
Mass popularity, the mass popularity where Batman prints money now.
He's doing that since 1960. He's been doing that since
This is
1939.
1939.
DC has always been a
Fucking
bat
kidding me?
factory for
I agree. I'm talking about the mass popularity that it has now. You go back.
Okay, you even go back to that. You're
15
looking at
years ago,
1989.
before Batman Begins, and the people like you can't walk up to a random person on the street and be like, "Tell me about Batman."
No,
Yes,
you
you fucking
would.
can.
Yeah,
Oh,
What
man.
are you talking about?
Oh
You
man.
forgot about the cartoon.
Yeah, did you forget about the animated series? That was like a cultural phenomenon. That's half the reason, or that's the reason why half of us are even here in the first place, is because we watched the cartoon.
I did forget about the animated
That
series.
cartoon,
You're right.
like,
You're right.
paved the way for-
You're right. I forgot all about the animated
There
series.
were movies and stuff too. Like I don't know.
1989.
Batman Forever, Batman and Robin.
Oh
What the
Jesus.
fuck is this?
I'm forgetting. I forgot all about the 90s.
Okay, we're editing
And
this
the Adam
out.
and the
No,
and
no,
the
we're not,
Adam
we're
West.
not editing
Fuck
this. We're
Primo.
coming back to this because this is a whole nother episode of like
Back in
Danny
the
and I
60s.
react to Primo in unison. Like,
No,
because-
No,
Okay.
I'm admitting that I'm wrong. I forgot about
Basically,
the.
the entire fucking history of Batman is what you forgot about?
No. No.
Wait, editing
Because that's
this?
what it sounds like to me.
okay, guys, let's just
Let's
have a
get
second
back to
to
Wonder
figure this
Woman.
out. But I just want to say,
Wow.
But
A Wonder Woman podcast goes to Batman.
Okay, how about
Oh,
we
God.
stop discussing Batman on a Wonder Woman podcast and
What are you talking
go
about?
back to Wonder Woman?
yeah,
Sorry.
there's some inherent sort of interesting sexism in that. But yeah,
And
let's
Bobby
get back
Nacho
to
would love this.
Okay, so we kind of left off after a brief detour that will be in the deleted scenes at the modern age of Wonder Woman, which began with the George Perez run. Now, there have been a few different people who did the runs after George Perez, including Bill Messner-Loebs, who took a more humanistic approach to Wonder Woman.
That's a good run.
All right, well, Jay, tell us about it.
Space Pirates. Taco Bell.
Artemis.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Artemis showed up at the tail end when the art got all 90s-y with Deodato.
Yeah.
And this is Wonder Woman Artemis, not a Young Justice Artemis for those of y'all young folks that just started reading or getting into this universe.
She was Wonder Woman very briefly. It didn't last.
She was the badass
I think
90s bird.
I think one of the cool things about the Messner Loebs run is that Wonder Woman at that point, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the only people to take on Darkseid herself, which is pretty cool actually. And she definitely fights Darkseid. She doesn't win.
Cool.
Doesn't win.
And then he goes and destroys Themyscira as
He destroys Themyscira before she fights Darkseid.
Like, that's why she fought him.
Wait,
That's why she
what?
fought him. Like she rolled up and he was like destroying. Like he rolled up, she rolled up. He was destroying Themyscira, fighting all these people. Parademons are killing dudes, and she's like, "All right, fuck this. We gonna fight." He's like, "You know what? You didn't beat me, but I have respect for you." And then that plays in later with Space Pirates. It's cool.
Space Pirate.
So here's a question about the that run. It was recently today actually released in trade form, and I've seen quite a number of people asking already, is that story worth, or is this trade worth picking up? What would you guys say to that?
Depends on what's in it. Oh yeah, it says 85, 0, and 92, 100.
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman, Mike Deodato. Is it worth getting if you're gonna be a Wonder Woman fan, not even a hardcore fan? Then yeah, it's just more stuff to read, you know. I mean, but you can still be fine with just the main runs of Perez, Rucka, Simone.
All right. So what else happened after that kind of period? What kind of significant events happened between George Perez and this era you guys are talking about with
No, it's like
right, like what sort of significant events or maybe character development,
War
if
of the
any?
Gods. Yeah, War of the Gods, which is like the huge Wonder Woman Justice League crossover that actually just got reprinted.
The Roman and Greek pantheons go against each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I think.
It's also just there. You can read it if you want or not. That's kind of the thing. Like, that's kind of the thing about Wonder Woman is just like either it's knockdown smash awesome or it's just like meh, it happened. You can read it.
So you wouldn't recommend it?
If you're reading Perez's run, you should read it.
Yeah.
It's the culmination of his run. It's fair to say that. Although, unfortunately, it was woefully underpromoted at the time, so it didn't really make as big of a splash as it could have, and it actually led to Perez leaving the woman title as a result.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's actually a very bad pattern up until probably the Azarella run of Wonder Woman not having... Well, it actually continues to this day, and we'll get to that later, where there's no real champion for Wonder Woman in the DC offices, the way there is for a Batman or Superman,
Yeah.
or Flash, Captain Marvel.
Well, any of the female heroes, really, if we're gonna be honest. Except maybe Batgirl, actually.
Yeah, and even then, we're looking at 20 years back. Len Wayne, here it comes again.
Oh man,
Anyway.
I mean, I feel like Greg Rucka
I
is
assume we were
the
gonna
champion
edit it
for Wonder
out.
Woman, though.
yeah. I mean, when if I'm not mistaken, on his little Tumblr thing, when he's talking about coming back to DC and writing, he was like, "Yo, dog, Wonder Woman or nothing."
Yeah. Plus, like, he was very insistent on having it edited by Mark Doyle, not, our favorite editor, Eddie Berganza.
Yes. He was like, if I'm gonna do this, it's got to be good.
The Rucka run was
2002.
It was about 2002, 2003. It was just an incredible run, but it was it kind of starts off with the God saying, we've got to change or die, which kind of rips off Sandman. That's point. Well, think about it. Ares starts with reinventing himself, and Athena reinvents herself, and then just like I think.
Yeah. You're talking about I think you're talking about when it like actual starts off with. It's like it becomes like the onus of the rest of the story is Athena taking over taking over Olympus, using blind badass Diana who can fight the Justice League while blind.
Oh man, that was a great moment.
Like for those that don't know what we're talking about, in Greg Rucka's run, Wonder Woman goes blind for reasons.
Oh yeah.
She goes blind for reasons that we don't want to spoil if you want to run. And it's actually a really awesome moment. But she goes blind, and then she's like, well, I need to find out if I'm still good enough to be in the Justice League. So she goes to like this Justice League training room and is like, come at me, bro. And the whole Justice League goes to fight her. Obviously, Superman and Batman aren't. They're just sitting there watching. But Justice Flash comes at her, and she beats the Flash. She fights all these people. She beats the Justice League. And then Batman comes at her from the shadows doing Batman things. try and sneak up on her, and she just punks his ass. It's awesome. And she's like, "Thank you for that, Bruce." And he was like, everybody else is like, "Dude, you were trying to hurt her." And he was like, "Well, yeah. Regular people are gonna try and hurt her." He's like, "You guys are pulling your punches." He was like, "Even if you came at her full strength, she would still beat you." And then she beat me. He was like, "I think she's good enough, even though she's blind." And Superman was like, "But she's blind, and I need to make sure she's safe."
I like that Superman voice.
But Diana, and I'm like, Superman, shut the fuck up, dog. She wears the pants. So again, there's nothing wrong with if she wants to wear feminine clothes. Talking about Wonder Woman. For those that are Flash fans that are just listening to listen, the second trade of the George Rucka run, which good luck finding because Greg Rucka. You know, it's like Dumbledore in Lord of the Rings and Gandalf in Harry Potter. Mnemonic slips, not mnemonic, Freudian slips. But no, yeah, the Greg Rucka run. She pairs up with the Flash when she's blind because Cheetah, like Wonder Woman's main villain, breaks Hunter Zolomon out of prison and becomes a speedster. She has to team up with the Flash, and that was a totally cool.
Because he's a cheetah.
He is a cheetah. That was a totally cool.
That cover was really nice too, from what I remember. The cover art.
I'll have so much to say about the cheetah when we start talking about why she's not why she gets shafted as part of the Trinity.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have like a stack of stuff that we could throw out for that. But no, yeah, that's a super cool moment when she's with the Flash and she fights a speedster and they win/lose. They win, but the speedsters run away and escape and all this other cool stuff. And the whole time she's like blind. So it's neat.
Yep.
There's like a lot of Wonder Woman Flash stuff. Why is that, Flash fans? In the Greg Rucka run, like in the beginning of it, she stops Flash from stopping a wildfire because she's like, this is nature's course. You shouldn't stop a wildfire.
It was because Rucka and Johns were, I think, pretty buddy-buddy at the time because they were working pretty closely together leading up to Infinite Crisis. So I think they just thought it was like a fun thing for each other's, like the title characters, each of them were writing at the time to just pop in and out of each other's stories.
I did not know that. But yeah, Greg Rucka run, in terms of just like outright quality of writing, maybe the best run, depending on how you feel about Brian Azzarello run and just overall quality of writing. Whether or not what he did you agree with, but level of writing, I don't know.
I love Azzarello. Like, you know, I'm with you on that Azzarello is brilliant, Primo, but like Rucka's better. Rucka's run is better.
It's Greg Rucka. Greg Rucka. Yeah, so I mean, I think if you were just gonna read like one Wonder Woman thing, I also do. I think if you were gonna read just one Wonder Woman story, it would be the Greg Rucka run because that is like all encompassing of who Diana is and what purpose she serves and how she is, and I think so. You have like the Greek elements. You have her involvement with the Justice League. You have her Rogues Gallery up in it all the way through the Rogues Gallery. You have her involvement and relationship with normal people. Her being an ambassador and her being Wonder Woman.
And it's being reprinted in July, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah, end of July.
July 13th. That's when the first trade comes out.
I highly recommend it, most definitely. And you just read the Hikatea. If you want to watch Batman get fucking punked by Wonder Woman, you read.
Hikatea is in their first volume reprint.
Yep. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Oh, that's legit. I didn't know that. I already have all the stuff.
So are we talking about Rucka now, or?
Yeah.
We've kind of been talking.
Okay.
Just something you wanted to add, Barry?
Yeah, I haven't read too much of the Rucka run yet. I bought the first few issues digitally, then I saw the trade was coming out, so figured I'd wait. But I don't know. I think what I really like about Rucka is that he takes all these, fantastical elements, but he kind of like grounds them in reality, sort of. I mean, Gotham Central, that's The Wire with Batman in it. Lazarus, which I really love, it's kind of goes into like the feudal system, and I really like how with Wonder Woman he kind of like delves into like the ambassador aspect of it.
Yeah, it's like the main focus too. She's like in the whole run, she's an ambassador first, Wonder Woman second, which is really cool.
And like the first issue is kind of the point from like it's kind of the point of view from the intern who's just like it's kind of like learning about who Wonder Woman is.
Hey, you're totally right. The Rucka run's dope, man. It's dope. Like the way like you said, it like grounds the fantastical elements. As Danny hit on earlier, the gods like redefining themselves. Ares just dresses like a dude, man. He's got a white button-down shirt, black pants, got his blonde hair just hanging out. Athena, being the wise individual that she is always like on a computer, a laptop, just got casual clothes on. She's not a goddess-looking type person. It's really cool. It's really cool. And then they rebel against Zeus and use Diana to do many badass things. Like when Diana beats Zeus's personal guardian and bodyguard.
Oh man, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the run.
Plus, Greg Rucka on Twitter, he promised me an AMA a few months after Rebirth hits, so I will remind him of that.
Remind him of this. That would be legit. I would be like, where did you get... Oh man, I got things to say. Yeah, no, the Rucka run, for those listening, there's not like a ton to say about it without like spoiling. Like I said, I personally think it is the most well-rounded and all-encompassing Wonder Woman run you could read. Because she is already defined as who she is, so you don't have to go through a whole origin thing. And she, at this point in time, is, Holy Trinity level reverence and things of that nature.
Yeah, so Perez and Rucka, read them both.